Today we are going to put all the putty in these pieces. This one I just put it on. I have to let it dry for a long time. It's actually called Quickwood, and there it is right there. It dries really, really hard. It's an epoxy putty, and I use it whenever I have to attach things like handles or spouts or anything like that, because it's really, really hard, much harder than what you're going to see with regular wood putty, like this one over here. It's good to use for small areas, but something like this, you need to have that strength. So this one here shows what it looks like before, after I've glued it in, and it doesn't have anything in it. And then this is where we are now. All these pieces here, this one's going to have weights put in it so it will sit correctly, because the ceramic handle is much, much heavier than the gourd. This one here will be a pitcher, like this one. And then these pieces over here are ones that Dean cleaned for me this morning and also leveled them, as you can see. This one here will be a big pitcher, and these may be little ones. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what happens with those. Other than that, let's see. All of these have been cleaned, and this one has had that same quick wood put around the whole top, because these pieces are fragile, so I have to reinforce them however I can to make them stronger. All of these have had wood hardener put inside of them, and the wood hardener is this right here. It's for rotten wood, and it makes it really hard. It helps to strengthen it, preserve it. So I use it on my thin gourds, and so that would be the big ones over here, and these small ones. And it's a milky and dries clear. These have had it done. All of these have had it done. And the babies have had it done. So that's where we are right now. Hopefully I'll get all of that done today. And then I can probably start getting my sketches ready tomorrow. And after that, once that's set, I'll, if I'm going to do collage, I have to draw lines to show where the collages can be, and wherever there isn't going to be anything like patina or collage, then I will whitewash all the rest of the gourd and get it ready to take on color. So that's where we are today. Have a good day, everybody. This afternoon, I decided I would work on handles for my pitchers and feed on my teapots, and some of them went together really quickly and others didn't. This one here, as you can see, went together really easily. So now it needs to be glued in, and then I need to do the puttying so that everything is a smooth transition from the hole to the gourd. So that's next on the agenda. Some of the other ones were not so easy. This one here is a big gourd. Let's see if I can find the hand. There's the handle. And this one is going to need a lot of work probably to get it. Well, that's not too bad either. Yeah, there's that one. Okay, so that one we'll have to have all the gluing done. I first glue it with super glue to get it to stay where I want it, and then I come back around it with an epoxy to really seal it in. Today I carved holes in the bottom of my teapots so that they would be able to have the legs. These little eggs are robin's eggs right here, wooden robin's eggs. And what I do is I drill a hole in it, and then with the carving burr, I make the hole bigger and bigger and bigger until I can inset the egg like that into that hole, and then I will super glue it for a quick fix, and then I'll come back into it with the epoxy so that it'll be permanent adhesion. The top of the gourd for the teapot is a purse handle. It's a bamboo purse handle, and there you can see them completed on my website. I've also used the tops of little gourds, like this end right here, about that long, and I've used those as legs as well, but this is a new thing that I found out about, and it's actually quite a bit easier than the other one. So I may be pursuing this more in the future. So the little teapots are now going to be ready after today to get whitewashed with the white dye. This here is one of the small pitchers. It has its holes carved into it, and I have a issue down here which I'll have to work with to get that looking right. I'll have to putty in and smooth that transition. But other than that, that's fine. And this one is one of the smaller ones as well. This one is really cool. I really like this one. I took the handle and the hole went in, and there was a nice curve on the edge down to the actual end of the gourd. And of course, I'm going to come back in and trim all of that off so it has a real nice crisp edge on it. But it's a little different way. There's not a hole at the top and bottom. There's just one at the top. And I will probably peg down here, put a hole in the gourd and put some kind of little baby dowel. Sometimes I actually use wooden toothpicks, and then make a corresponding hole into the gourd and then glue it together. And I'll probably do that before I put it in here to make sure that everything goes as I want it to. So that's about it for today. Today I've been working on finishing up my teapots. They're all done and ready to be whitewashed now. I epoxied the inside where I had put the legs on. These are all ready for whitewashing. In here I am bleaching prickly pear skeletons. It's going to take a couple of days for that to get all the nastiness off of it. And let's see, over here, these are my pictures that I've been working on. Yesterday, some of them I fit the holes, and then last night I went and put the epoxy putty in them, and then this morning I cleaned off all the excess. So those are now ready to be whitewashed and to have color added to them. Pretty happy about those. There's another one. And then there's a big one over here. Got that backlight. There we go. So that one's working. And then over here, we have the ones that I am still working on. Was not happy with the way the putty went on here, so I have added a second coat on it. I've got some holes there that have to be filled, so I have to go back into it. And this one here, same issue. So I'll be back on that one probably tonight to shape it once the putty has set up. It's an epoxy putty, 2-part. This one here is going to need some sanding down at the bottom to try and get that really smooth before I put any whitewash on it. This one here has a ceramic handle on it, and I had weight issues obviously because the ceramic is so much heavier. So I have epoxied a heavy fish weight in the spout that will counterbalance it so that it sits correctly. This one also needs more work down and through here. So once that has set up, then I can come back and epoxy it, and we'll go forward from there. So things are moving along. Today I worked on the big teapots. My big eggs came in that I had ordered, so they now are glued into the big teapots on both of them. There's the other one, and now they sit up, and they will be used for, not used, but actually be ready to be whitewashed, which I may be able to start on tomorrow. Let's see, everything else has been pretty well done. Oh, yesterday I showed you the prickly pear. Today it's much lighter than it was. I think tomorrow it'll be good, and I'll be able to let that dry, take it out and let it dry. These pieces here, I took a sander, palm sander in on the inside and smoothed all these edges on all of these. And then over here, I started working on doing a different kind of lid. I flattened the top of this. Actually, Dean did. And then I flattened the top of this one. I cut out a circle out of basswood. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And this piece will go on top like that. And then it will have a stopper underneath, another piece of wood, probably a pine, that will be glued to the underneath of this. And then it will fit right in there. And that's a new kind of lid that I'm doing, and I'll be doing it on these two as well. I've already done the circles. The first set of circles I did, this is real new to me, and I've never done it before, so they didn't turn out exactly as I wanted. So these should be good, because they've got a more distance from them, from the diameter of the wood to the diameter of the gourd. The gourd top is a little bit more than I'd had before. And then these little tops will go on the wood once they're cut out. Like that. Well, they better centered than that. Yeah, like that. Be glued to that, and then there will be a stopper underneath that will fit the diameter of the inside of the gourd, and it'll have a cute little lid. So that's about it for today.